recently, I've seen a huge increase of students and their families looking at Holland as a destination to attend university. So this evening's presentation will just be an overview of the types of universities in Holland, and of course, why attend university in Holland. I've taken groups of students to visit many Dutch universities, and I've personally gone on university counselor tours and then individual tours of Dutch universities. So I would say I've seen probably every uh, university in Holland. So I have a very good understanding of the atmosphere, of the culture, and of course, definitely the programs and the admissions qualifications. One of the major, there's those three types of universities in Holland. And this is a group of the research universities. And you can see Leiden, Erasmus in Rotterdam, Groningen, Maastricht, Roosevelt, Utrecht, and so forth, and Tilburg. And again, I've been to all of these universities. Excellent, excellent institutions. But why study in the Netherlands? Well, it's a beautiful country. The Dutch are very friendly. It doesn't rain too often. Okay. But again, here are some of the more concrete reasons. Peace of mind. The quality and reputation of the Dutch universities is very, very high. They're known throughout the world as outstanding universities. It's an outstanding destination. And of course, language. Everyone in Holland speaks English. There's most of the programs at Dutch universities are in English, but there are a few that are only in Dutch. We can talk about that later. The student experience, the warm welcome. The Dutch are wonderful people, very open, friendly, accepting. But yeah, it's a different cultural experience. It's in its center of Rome of Europe, and it's got lots of different experiences and some famous painters. Active student life, and there's a great deal of support and service that they give to their students to make the adjustment. Value for money, and we'll talk about the cost later. I did say before about the reputation. Some of the top 2% of all the best universities in the world are in the Netherlands. And you can see they're excellent, right at the top of the peaks, sort of as we say. Of course, language is a factor. There are 2,100 different English language programs in Holland. 2,100 plus. Every day there are more and more English speaking programs being added to the Dutch universities. Netherlands, very high proficiency in English, number 2 of all 88 countries in the region. Holland is small. Many of the Dutch have sought jobs outside of the Netherlands and then of course return. So English is their second language. So it's not an issue. It's a welcoming and safe place. Again, it's 23rd of 163 countries of the Global Peace Index, number 23 of a very safe country. And they're happy. 6th out of 156 countries in the World Happiness Report. And I think that's important. If you're happy, you're going to do well, you're going to succeed, and you're going to study hard. It's a new cultural experience. If you do go to university in Holland, you have to buy a bike. That's the transportation mode for the Dutch. I don't know if they have designated bike paths. But the negative part is don't use a pedestrian or somebody walking get in front of that bike path because they have ownership of the road. And I think it's especially important now about to use your bike for the climate. It's a new cultural experience. The food is great. I'm not sure many people realize, but Indonesia has got, and the culture and the food has truly influenced Holland. Indonesia was one of the Dutch colonies, and so they really have kept some of those traditions. And of course, they have all types of European traditions, the food, then other cultural aspects.
Konferanstayım, zar zor duyuyorum zaten.
Okay,
Wow.
sorry about that. I don't know where that's coming from. I'll try to mute them.
Yeah, it's an active student life. When remember, yes, going to university is all about the academics, of course. You're there to receive an education and to use that education for employment and so forth. But university is also an experience. And the Dutch universities have a very active student life, many clubs, organizations, sports clubs. It's truly a well-rounded experience because it's important, again, to be part of the university, enjoy the clubs, the activities, and of course, the academics, but a very active student life. You just walk in any Dutch university, and I'll use a slang term, but you feel the vibe. Yeah, you feel that, oh, there's activity here. Students are loving it here. Support and service. This doesn't happen at universities throughout the world, and it may not happen at Turkish universities, where there are offices and there are professionals that help students with the transition, whether that's finding housing, whether that's working on student visa issues, whether that's looking for a job, because you can work 16 hours in Holland a week to make extra money. So rooms or support service for students with disabilities, both physical and maybe educational or learning. So again, the services are there. The Dutch are there to help the student. This is probably one of the best parts of attending university in Holland. If you're an EU citizen, it's over 2,000 euro. But if you're non-European, Turkish and so forth, 6,000 to 15,000 euro. That's very, very reasonable. Again, there are some programs that might be a little bit higher, and university colleges, which we'll talk about later, they may be a little bit higher than the 6,000 to 15,000, but very much a bargain in worldwide prices of university education. Of course, that was just tuition. Students have to live. And so that would be around 8 to 1,000 euro a month. And then you can see the breakdown here. Housing, 300 to 600, whether you have a single room or you're housing with other students, will be the range. Food, transportation. You have to have health care and insurance. Get books, and sports and social activities is another fee, and then just other incidentals. But for 800 to 1,000 euro a month, it's excellent. I did mention then there are a few scholarships at some of the universities. Not a great deal. Financial support is not always readily available, but there are a few scholarships. And it's right here. So here are the financial resources. Here's a website that if you're EE and if you're EU and EEA, you've got there's loans. But if you're non-EU, such as from Turkey, there's the Holland scholarship. There is some financial aid and scholarships at individual universities. As I said before, you can work part-time at 16 hours a week for incidental money. And of course, if you look, there are loans and grants, of course, but that's at your home country. And of course, paying for most of it yourself or with your family support. What's next? You have to decide as a student and as the parent of a student, are you a good candidate for university in the Netherlands? Some of the characteristics: being independent. Mom and dad aren't going to be there to make sure your homework is done or your clothes are washed and ironed, that you're getting up in the morning. Are you adventurous? Are you willing to seek a new adventure, be a risk taker? Are you open-minded? The universities in Holland are very international. There are students from all over the world. And are you open-minded to accept other cultures, people with different points of view? Are you responsible? You have to take responsibility for everything. Your own learning, your budget, your household needs, time management. Again, the Dutch universities are very, very rigorous. We'll talk about applications in a few moments, but there are high quality of education that are demanding and rigorous. Again, are you interested in new cultural experiences, cross-cultural learning from others, and then are you academically strong or suited to hands-on learning? A lot of work is independent, but also there's a lot of group work. So let's talk a little bit about the three different types of universities in the Netherlands. There's the Universities of Applied Sciences. These are professional higher education universities. Universities of Applied Sciences are 4 years, and they have a little bit less qualifications than research universities and university colleges. Universities of Applied Sciences, since they are 4 years, they will accept the Turkish high school diploma and no other examinations such as the APs or SAT2s. They'll take, so you students can apply with a high school diploma, whether that high school diploma is from Turkey or from Canada or from US, whatever, it's accepted. And there are some of the programs at the Universities of Applied Sciences are a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more training type, trained to be a teacher, trained to be some type of a technician. Research universities are really what you would, very similar to most universities throughout the world. They're very theoretical and they're professional. The last one that I don't have is called university colleges. And university colleges are a small college within a research university. University colleges are more of a liberal arts program, and then you move towards your program. University colleges are a living and learning environment. So if you go to University College in Utrecht, You're living with the same students you are studying with. So again, it's a college within a university. You're getting it, and it's a 3-year degree. Research universities, for qualifications, if you have a Turkish high school diploma, you will need 3 APs at least, 3 advanced placements. They need an extra qualification in order to apply for research universities. So again, getting back more to University of Applied Sciences that I was speaking about. They're training for specific professions. It's hands-on learning. It's a 4-year bachelor program, as I mentioned. You can do internships or work experience. And it's learning how to. It's more of applied learning. And it's less theoretical, less self-learning, and it's more class time, more in the class. And there are more than 200 programs in many subjects of study. And you can see some of them below. There's the Fine Arts Academies within Universities of Applied Sciences, your music conservatories, and your hotel schools are within the Universities of Applied Sciences. The research university. Is this university for you? It's a very, very academic education. 3-year bachelor's program. You have to do a research thesis at the very end. And the learning style is very fast. It's in depth. It's a high volume of material. It's learning the whys and theory of how independent learning is required. And over 100 programs are taught in many subjects. And there's different types. There could be a comprehensive university or a technical university. Delft is a technical university, and their specialty is in engineering and architecture and so forth. I want to also mention in the university system in Holland, you have to get certain grades and pass all your courses to move on to that 2nd year. If you don't move on to that 2nd year, you cannot apply to any other university with the same program. You'd have to change programs. Okay. So again, the research universities include a university college. It's a liberal arts college in sciences. I think as a group, as Admittance Education, when we work with students and we advise students, we look at their personality, look at their needs, and I think we can support a student and help a student as they decide research university, University of Applied Science, University College. So let's look at some of the programs at Universities of Applied Sciences and research universities. Remember, at these you're applying to a program. So again, as a university advisor at Admittance Education, we work with students so they can pick the best program that matches their career goals and who they are. I won't read all of these, but you can look on the left side of the Universities of Applied Sciences. In there from accounting, finance, architecture, sports management, photography, fine arts. So you can see there, some of them are really more, we call that hands-on. Automotive engineering, game design, fashion design, photography, media, marketing, sports management. So for some students, a University of Applied Science is a perfect match for them and their career goals. Let's look at the right at research universities. You can see they're very theoretical, very professional schools. Law, medicine, biomedical sciences, physics, biology, chemistry, languages and culture, computer science, technology. Of course, again, the liberal arts and sciences are the university colleges. We got aerospace, chemical, industrial engineering, psychology, anthropology, archaeology, political science. So again, very professional programs, archaeology, economics. And then in the middle, the gray part, you'll see that these subjects, you can either do it at a university of applied sciences or at a research university. Are you interested? Is this something that excites you, that you would thrive at, that would provide you with the type of education where you can pursue your career goals or pursue maybe further education to a master's program? Are you interested? And again, do you have the credentials? Do you have the qualifications? If you're an international baccalaureate candidate and you're full IB, yes, you have the qualification. Scrolling down, of course, the American high school diploma, as I said before, is similar to the Turkish diploma. You've got an accredited diploma, you get grades, and of course, you need 3 or 4 AP exams with specific grades. And of course, other secondary school diploma, and of course, that would be also, again, the Turkish diploma, which is recognized in Holland. Applied sciences, no other qualification. Research universities and university colleges, you need additional qualifications, such as the APs. And then again, some programs have additional qualifications, such as the university colleges, hotel schools. They're highly selective. There's also programs called numerus fixus, and these have very limited enrollment. And you can only apply to 2 of those types of programs, and they rank you. And of course, then there's the talent-based programs, your music, your drama, at times architecture, where you have to have a portfolio and so forth. You always need to check. You always need to check the qualifications at the universities. It's always best to go to their website to check their qualifications. Then apply. And again, as an advisor at Admittance Education, we help students apply to universities. This is one of our goals. There's no centralized procedure, meaning like in the UK, there's one procedure you use to apply to all universities. In Holland, you need to register first through the government, and then put down your 4 universities. You can only apply to 4, and the universities will contact you. And then you make individual applications. You apply for the year your plans begin. So if you're in grade 12, you're applying for 2021. The term deferral means that some universities, you can be admitted and then say, oh, I'll come the following year. That's really not a possibility in Holland. You only apply for the year you'll be entering. Please check the deadlines. The Dutch university's deadline, it could be December 1st to August 15th, anytime. But again, it's very university specific. So first of all, students register through the system called StudyLink. And then you put the universities in, the university sends information, and then the students complete the application and submit the application for the program they're interested in. Read the instructions. And again, this is where we can come in as a counseling agency to help students with their application process. I do want to mention that part of the application process, of course, is students would upload or send their academic records or transcript. Students also need to write a letter of motivation. A letter of motivation is why you as a student want to study a particular program at a particular university. It's very university specific. For example, let's say I want to study business at the University of Amsterdam. My motivational letter I'll write about my passion to study business, what I've done, in reading in my classes. Maybe I've taken summer programs. Maybe I've done some internships. That's my passion. But why Amsterdam? So you as a student need to write about, it's a very international city and so forth. Same thing with University in The Hague, which is the capital of the Netherlands. Why The Hague? So again, we can support you and assist you. An excellent website is studyinholland.nl. Write it down. It's excellent. It talks about the Dutch universities. You see the ones that I've been speaking about. It's got information about universities of applied sciences, and of course about university colleges, which are very unique and really fit the needs of some students if they're not really decided. I don't really know what I want to study. You can take general courses. It's called liberal arts, and then you move through the 3 years into more specific areas: politics, international relations, English, literature, and so forth. And now we've got some time for questions and answers. I will stop sharing. We'll go back to Yazim. And of course, I'm sorry about my video. I did not realize I didn't have it on until the very end.
But, you're all good. That's super interesting. I'm already getting some questions around. Maybe we can translate these and maybe you can describe it and I'll try to translate. Your video's off now, check. Okay, there you are. University, like admission requirements for 3-year versus 4-year applied sciences versus research university. So if you wanted to if you don't mind taking them through some of that one more time and let me try to translate.
Okay.
Just in case. Okay.
So for the 4-year University of Applied Sciences, they will accept the Turkish diploma.
So let me just translate that. So Applied Sciences üniversiteleri 4 yıl, Research üniversiteleri 3 yıl. Applied Science üniversitelerine Türk lise diplomasıyla başvurabiliyoruz. Okay, thank you.
And then again, for the research universities and university colleges, Turkish diploma plus 3 to 4 APs.
Yep. Research yani araştırma üniversiteleri ki University Colleges da bunların bir kısmı. Yani hem araştırma alanlarında hem liberal sanatlarda, alanlarda 3 yıllık üniversite. Bunlar IB programı ya da how many APs? 3 you said, right? 3 or 4.
3 at the minimum. Yeah.
Minimum yani en az 3 ya da 4 AP sınavı almış olmamız gerekiyor. Onlara başvurunca ne oluyor? 3 yıllık üniversiteye gidebiliyoruz. Bir şey ekleyeceğim Jack'ın söylemediği. Bunlar da Türkiye'de sadece Mayıs ayında veriliyor. Ve çalışıp dışarıdan girmek ya da okulumuzun AP curriculum'u olması lazım. Bize çalıştırması lazım. I also added that APs are offered in May.
Oh, good. Good. Excellent. Good.
Once a year. So that was something that popped up. But I'll go quiet now and take other questions. You can ask in Turkish as well as English. So I see one coming through. Okay, we have a good question about industrial engineering. What are some of the leading schools in Holland? And then can we also show them the screen with the college tuition and living expenses?
I would say the Tilburg,
Yeah.
Utrecht, all the research universities all are very, very strong in all types of engineering. So they have a question about the fees again, is that?
Yeah,
Or the
tuition
program?
and living expenses. If you don't mind, maybe we could screen share back to that page. Teşekkür ederiz Şule Hanım. Başka sorunuz varsa ne olur yazın. Güzel sorular.
So again, the living expenses?
Yeah. Well, tuition first and then the other one.
$6,000 to $15,000?
Yani Avrupa topluluğu dışından başvuruyorsak bu Amerika'ya nazaran ve İngiltere'ye nazaran çok daha mantıklı. 6 ila 15.000 euro okul masrafı. So we could maybe look at the next page. Okay. Bu da yaşam masrafları yani 800 ila 1000 euro ayda. Amerika'dan çok çok çok daha hesaplı buluyorlar.
Did they want to look at the programs again, the different subjects?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Yeah. Programlara bir daha bakalım. Dışarıdan nasıl AP yapabiliriz? Ona kesinlikle cevap vereceğim. Bu sayfayı sunsun Jack. Çok iyi bir soru. Okay, sorry Jack, go ahead.
Again, this is the different programs at the universities. The
Sol
research.
tarafta Applied Science yani 4 yıllık olan üniversiteler, devlet yani lise ve diplomamıza başvurabildiğimiz. Sağ tarafta ise araştırma üniversiteleri. Bunlar 3 yıllık. Tekrarlamak gerekirse IB ya da en azından 3-4 tane AP sınavı gerekiyor. Someone's asking, I can't see their name, but why Delft University is on the list? There is no reason. It's just there's lots of schools in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what about Delft?
Why it wasn't on our list, but we actually merhaba Sinem Hanım. But we didn't actually show a list. We just showed some logos, really, right?
Delft only has I think it's aeronautical engineering.
Yeah.
Most of the architecture, most of the programs at Delft are in Dutch.
Delft'teki çoğu program Hollanda dilinde İngilizce değil, İngilizce eğitim yapan üniversitelere çoğunluk. Bu Jack'in söylediği çok doğru. Bu sene mesela mühendislik okumak isteyen birçok insanla bizim platformumuzda üniversite program araştırırken Delft'i bir sürü öğrencinin listesine koyamadım açıkçası.
I know what they're referring to.
Yeah.
This consortium. Yeah, these are the countries that have most English-speaking programs. Because Delft does not, because it doesn't have many.
Yeah. Can we go back to that page so I can make sure I explain that to them?
You mean the universities?
Yeah, just the logos real quick.
Well, that's it's going to be this group.
Bu grup bir konsorsiyum, yani en çok İngilizce program sunan üniversiteler grubu olarak. O yüzden onlar içinde değil. Yoksa çok iyi bir üniversite tabii. Okay. Someone's asking how they can do the AP exams if your school is not offering it. Doğru söyledim mi isterseniz İsmet Bey sordu galiba dışarıdan AP nasıl yapabiliriz diye. Şimdi
Evet, ben de onu merak ediyorum.
Evet, bazı okullarda tabii hazırlıyorlar. Ne Robert Kolej Hisar gibi okullarda ve sınavları sunuyorlar. Ama diğer öğrencilerimiz şimdiye kadar dışarıdan ders alarak, hazırlanarak bir şekilde girmeyi başardılar. Oya da şimdi bize katıldı. O da belki çaymin etmek ister. Şimdiye kadar dışarıdan girip sınava alabiliyorlardı. College Board bunun artık imkansız olacağına dair bir karar açıkladı bundan yaklaşık 2 hafta önce zannediyorum. Oya sen aramıza katıldın şimdi değil mi? Bilmiyorum bir şey eklemek ister misin? Onunla ilgili bir başvuru yapmıştık Change.org'da.
Valla College Board'un denedim ben bir yolladım, dilekçe yolladık ama hani kabul ederler mi hiçbir fikrim yok. Çok da fazla imzalayan olmadı gerçi. Şu dönemde Türkiye'de dışarıdan AP başvurusu kabul eden okul sadece Hisar var. Hisar da bekleme listesine alıyor. Eğer yaparsanız, AP koordinatörüne mesaj atarsanız. Bekleme listesinden yavaş yavaş bazı öğrencilerimi almaya başladılar ama herkesi alamayacaklarını düşünüyorum ne yazık ki. Yani ama denemeye değer. İsterseniz chat'ten size AP koordinatörünün yollayabilirim. Mailini.
Çok teşekkür ederiz.
Bir şey değil.
Ahmet is asking if there is a difference. Ahmet, you can ask this. Come on. Ask it. Can you speak up? Your English is very good.
I am curious about how admission officers consider the SAT scores for acceptance.
Okay, or do you want to know the difference between SAT or the ACT, or do you want to know like what level you need to be at overall?
I wonder if they consider it rather than IB or AP.
No. The IB or AP, they don't. Most will not consider the SAT. Maybe some will look at the SAT too, but not the SAT one.
Mhm.
It's IB, AP, maybe SAT too. I also want to comment that there are some foundation programs in Holland
Mhm.
For students who don't have quite the qualifications. But again, that takes research, and that's where admittance education can come in, is to help a student who may not have all the qualifications, but maybe needs a foundation for a little extra year, and we can help them.
Mhm. Do you want to comment while we're on the subject on the different types of foundation programs? Are some better than others, for instance, do you think?
Well, I think I think the best, there's general foundation programs and there's program specific foundations. I don't, it's a little different than in the UK. I think all their foundation programs are very, very good in Holland. Because they're
from the
I don't have a great deal of experience with foundation programs.
ask and I deliver.
Because the
You
students
ask and I
I work-
deliver.
Okay. I will try to mute others. So we have
I have a question to Mr. Scholl.
yeah. Who is this?
So, can I ask if how COVID-19 affected the application procedures, or the how it affected the university's life itself? Like, are universities still open in Holland?
No.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
Most,
I'd like to know.
most universities in Holland are online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that John, by the way?
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Merhaba.
Good, but yeah, good question. It's a little bit different in other countries, of course, but in Holland, it's pretty well. Yeah, they're pretty well shut down. I've got, again, it depends on each school, of course, but yeah, most are online.
There's another good question, and I don't know, what level of detail we have about architecture, but specifically because Delft has that program, they're asking, is it 7 years?
Remember, Delft's architecture program is in Dutch,
Dutch, yeah.
so I don't really know the length. I don't think it's 7 years, but I'm not sure. And that's the same thing for medical programs in Holland. The first 2 years, 3 years are in English, but then when the student starts to practice at a hospital, they have to speak Dutch. So if you're great at learning languages.
Can I ask, like, what is the requirement level for Dutch?
Well, it'd be proficient. It's reading and writing, and Dutch is it's not an easy language.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
It's a Germanic language, of course, but it's quite challenging.
Okay.
But you can do it, Khan.
John, are you going to do architecture?
I'm not sure yet, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it being in Dutch, it kind of seems difficult now.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh, wait,
see.
there are lots of great architecture universities in Europe. We had several students this year. Yeah, the great programs. So we could definitely talk about that.
And there are other schools besides Delft that have architecture. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So They're asking about this. I guess I'll try to translate it as hazırlık sınıfı, like special class, but that is essentially foundation. Oh,
Right.
okay. They're asking, is there a foundation year like in Germany where you can just focus on learning the language?
No. No.
That's in Germany, but not here.
No. No, because in Germany you have to have
Yeah.
German as a, there are some private universities in Germany that are English, but
Mhm.
German.
Good. Other questions? Okay, there's another one. Let's see. He's a little late, so they might have missed it, but did we cover? Okay, yeah, this is actually a great question, and I was trying to get at this with the foundation question. Talat Bey is asking, he's heard, and I think Oya will have some background in this too. Certain students in Turkey will go to the Netherlands to attend some particular foundation programs, and then they just literally come back to Turkey, so because they can't make the cut. So, is that true? Does that happen? And how can we avoid it? I guess.
Well,
And definitely, Andre is not in that situation.
that's not only that's true for all programs.
Yeah.
Not just foundation programs.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that earlier in the presentation. You have to pass your classes. They're called credits. You have to have so many of these credits or units to move on to that next year. And if you don't, well, then you're done. And there's different methods of this. Some say you can't apply to that in the same program in another university. It's not going to happen. Or you have to wait for 4 years to apply for that program again. So the qualifications for Dutch universities are not very demanding, but the rigor of work is. The Dutch have a philosophy. They want to give everybody a chance. So let's say you didn't perform in high school as well as you maybe could. Well, they're saying, well, okay, we'll still give the student a chance, even though they may not have the academic background, we'll give them a chance anyway. So they do, and of course, some students do succeed and go on to year 2 or go from foundation to year 1, and other students do not. The level of work is very, very high. I think that should be emphasized.
I got something interesting texted to me from Ahmed. I think Ahmed, this is from last year, no, for this year. So this is an acceptance he got in June to Tilburg. So it is one-off, so I'll mention it so we can quickly try to analyze. He actually did get an acceptance to their bachelor program in cognitive science and AI. So that's a research university. It's a great school. So, and he has a great resume and some particular achievements in AI specifically. So they may have made an exception, but he did have the SATs, but no APs. So
okay, good, excellent. Again, you have to.
That's rare, but yeah, you're at that level, so that's great.
It's good for all the students to check each university.
Yeah.
What they may take as a qualification, because we can't know every single university, and some may. Again, Tilburg's a great school. Excellent. Yeah. I want to also mention about the facilities at the Dutch universities. The Dutch government, because these are public universities, have put a tremendous amount of money into these universities. Their facilities are top notch. Whether that's the wave, Delft has like a marine engineering or something, and they built like almost a small lake, to work with different aspects of marine engineering. So I want to mention again that the high quality.
I want to ask a question because I think several people will be curious here. So you had mentioned they can work up to 16 hours part-time as a student.
Yes.
Do we know what and you may not know this, I don't know if anybody here does, but what are we earning per hour if we do that? Because I think finances can be a question for a lot of people here.
Yeah, I don't know what they're paying wages. I would assume maybe 10 to 12 euro an hour, but I don't know. I can
Yeah.
ask. We've got Dutch teachers at my school. I can.
That would be really interesting because in the US you can work only at your school,
Yeah.
and then you can like make minimum wage, very low amounts. But in the Netherlands maybe you can make more. So that would be
Yeah,
useful.
I'll find that out.
Thank you so much.
I have another question.
Shoot, go
So,
for it.
Mr. Stroll, do universities create opportunities for the student to like travel around the world? Because as it can be seen, like universities seem to be tough in Holland. Like they make hard work, they force hard work on their students because like they want to see if they can stand the high quality education, let's say. So are there any students that are able to just travel around the world while they're studying?
Yeah, I think what you're speaking about, John, is doing a semester abroad at another university.
Yeah.
Or a year or whatever. You know, I just don't get that feeling at Dutch universities. It's very popular in the UK. It's very popular in the US. Definitely here at Bocconi in Milano, in Italy, they've encouraged students to study abroad. But I don't get that feeling from Dutch universities. Again, I visited many, and I rarely hear them to discuss that. I think they want all of their students to take all of their classes at their institution. Not saying that they may, or maybe you can even do a summer type program at a university outside of the Netherlands, but it doesn't seem to be a thing that many of the universities do.
I see. Thank you.
Again, that's just a cultural difference.
Okay, Archive looked it up for us and he says between 6 and 10 euros on the university website. Thank you. Teşekkür ederiz.
Okay. So I said 10. That's a better job.
So US pays a little bit better actually for student, labor, if
Yeah.
you're even if you work at the university. So
I mean, you can make €100 a week. That's,
it's beer money.
yeah. Well,
I didn't say that. Are there other questions? Because we're almost at the top of the hour. We can conclude if there aren't any. This has been a great discussion. Lots of great questions. Çok teşekkür ederiz sorular için.
again,
Ya ileride başka bir sorunuz olursa bizimle temasa geçin. Ya WhatsApp'tan ya gelecek hafta kim gelebilir? Onu sorayım. Kendinizi unmute edebilirsiniz. Gülün Hanım geliyor. Sağ olun. Yazılın Eventbrite'tan. Çok enteresan olacak 8 üniversite. Onun için kesinlikle bekliyorum.
geleceğim.
hepinizi.
okay, are we okay?
We're good. We just
Teşekkürler.
froze for a second. Tamam. Lütfen Emir Bey yazılalım. Hepimiz Eventbrite'ten web sitemizde var. Oraya bakın. Çok teşekkürler Doruk geldiğin için. Efe sağ ol, sağ ol. Hepinize.
Teşekkür ederiz. Sağ olun.
Çok teşekkür ederiz.
I'll translate their thanks. Biz de teşekkür ederiz. Sağ olun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Good
Thank you.
evening. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Mr. Shaw.
Okay, John.
Good. Thanks for the questions, John. Good job.
Good job.
So cute.